Hello everybody, how you doing? Bill Owen from CHENMING along with the Mosquito again from the Mod Zoo and his YouTube channel, Mosquito Mods. Make sure you subscribe. Mosquito, how you doing today?
Pretty good now that I'm 50% less pants.
Okay. All right.
Don't take that the wrong way. I changed out of pants into shorts.
Yes, there's heat and humidity going on here in Minnesota, which is very weird and odd. And then, of course, all across our nation right now, there's lots of weird weather patterns going on. And then it's somehow affecting, we've got a case here that's 15 years old that we're looking at.
Bit of a blast from the past.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of you recognize the design. This was a design that was commonly copied by many hardware manufacturers and companies starting in 1999 through the early 2000s. This one here is what I'd call an iconic case. It's the CHENMING 601AE, all aluminum. The original version that came out in 1999 was all steel, and those of you probably fondly recall it, may even still own one. We had done a live stream on CHENMING's fan page, and I think I counted 5 different people that still have a tower by one of these companies, whether it be Antec, CHIEFTEC, Enermax, Thermaltake, which they had the Zaser XASER series 1 through 3, I believe, and then Ultra. And correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe Raidmax and Aspire had a version 2, but their bezel design was different.
It was interesting because I went to the parent company that makes these. Who is it? Unique?
Yeah, Unique. UNEEC.
I went to their website earlier today when you mentioned that, and they had a bunch of cases listed on the site, and none of them had front bezels.
They're naked.
Yeah, they're just a case. Like, hey, this is what we sell. Just slap your front on it. Tell us what front you want to put on it, and away you go.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant at the time. But I had to do a bit of research, and it gets confusing because any type of forum posts are like, okay, gang, do I buy the Antec 1030 or the CHIEFTEC Dragon or this CHENMING? I'm confused. What's the differences? So what manufacturers would do to separate themselves is they would have a power supply option included with it, and different bezel designs, or no window panel. If you recall, when the CHIEFTEC first came out, like on my Antec 1030 that I bought from Directron.com that still exists today in Texas, I had to make my own window, and if you recall those really heavy black like windshield type molding strips with window kit that you would get, and it would be a real pain in the ass. It was like I think they called it C-channel, that you had to put the window in and pop it into your cutout that you did in the side panel. And then if you screwed up your cutout, you tell friends, don't push on the window because it will actually fall through into the case.
Yep. That H-channel stuff?
Yes, H-channel. That's what it was.
Yep.
So already somebody responded and said, I have one in the living room.
Nice. I actually never owned any of them.
Well, Mas, I know you're a big micro ATX and ITX guy, but you've owned full towers though because you love your RAID.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my old file server used to be an old IBM IntelliStation Z Pro 2661. That's a lot of numbers. And that was it wasn't an extended ATX motherboard because that's this way. It was the technically SSI ECB or whatever. It was a server board, so it was. The problem that I had is it wasn't wider this way, it was longer that way. And back then, trying to find decent looking cases that would fit a board like that was really hard. And then you'd find one and it just looked dumb. Or you'd find one and it would just be a server case and it would be, just kind of ugly. And it's like, well, what the heck? So the first computer case that I ever bought was an actual full tower Lian Li. That was big case. So
by the way, we stumbled upon a bunch of original Lian Li PC70 USB towers, brand new in the box, $99 a piece. I'll post it in the video description when this stream is over. And also, I teased on Facebook, Mas. I'm sorry I didn't mention it. I was going to mention it. But everybody listen closely. The source that I got this CHENMING from is in Canada. And they have a black one, brand new, in the box. They have one left, this same exact case. And they're asking $25 for it, plus shipping. What?
Silly Canadians.
So what I'll do when this live stream is over is I'll post a link to that company, and they also have these Lian Li towers there, brand new in boxes. And what's interesting, on their closeout page, they've got some old motherboards brand new in the box. So if you're watching this retro build trend going on YouTube, a lot of guys are like, hey, let's build something from 2004, let's get all the hardware, and then we'll run, graphics tests, and we'll play a game actually from that era as well. It's kind of fun because who doesn't have old hardware lying around, right?
Oh yeah. It'd be a lot easier if you didn't have to recycle it.
Yeah. But the problem is that Mas and I run into is that old hardware starts to consume valuable space in the shop. I've got a wall full of case boxes here that's sucking up space, and I imagine your collection's growing.
Yeah, a little bit. Especially like when we were doing a lot more written reviews on the Mod Zoo, it was like I always had a stash of hardware and a stash of water cooling gear just in case. So you had at least one ITX board, at least one micro ATX board, at least one ATX board, a couple different sizes of graphics cards, and I never used any of them. Some of them worked, some of them didn't work, but now I have all of those still laying around. So I've got a bunch of like Z87 stuff because that's when I first started buying a lot of it. It's like, maybe I'll use them for mods down the road someday, because it's like I don't, when I'm just building an HTPC, I don't need to have an X99 or an X299 or a Threadripper or anything crazy. It's just like, it's just an HTPC, and all I care about is the case, so whatever.
Right. Yeah. We do love we love this hobby just for the art of building. It would be fun to do a retro build and have it run something. Because, that's the joy is the journey, not so much the destination for us. That's why we geek out on this stuff. And we thought that we could occasionally sprinkle in one of these iconic cases into our weekly live stream, just because it brings back memories. And also, it shows you how far we've advanced with designs. So, do you like having a door on your tower? I remember that was a big thing. People either liked that or didn't like it at the time.
I know I liked it. Still do, actually. My main desktop as well as my file server both have front doors on them.
Yeah, I liked it too. And at the time, it was beige drives. Black face drives, CD-ROM drives, weren't as common in like the early 2000s. Of course, there were options, but...
See, when I first started buying them, I remember it was like, you would get excited if you got the stock would come with a beige faceplate, and you'd be excited if you came with an optional white one. You're like, oh, look at this one, this one's white.
Yes, there was the CD writer, I can't remember that company that had the really expensive drives. I think they had that option. I don't remember the company name though, but the CD-ROM writers. CDRWs and all that. I've blocked all that out of my mind. So here we've got 4 5.25 bays, 2 3.5 inch drives.
2 external 3.5 inch drives.
External. And power, reset.
How about that sound? Get that little twang of the spring.
It brings back memories.
Back in the day.
My first build in '99, it was a Thunderbird, AMD Thunderbird. I don't remember which size it was, but I had a Thermaltake spiral cooler that was had a 60 millimeter fan that just screamed. But at the time, when you're such a noob, you don't realize that there really isn't better alternatives. You didn't know any better. You're just like, oh, okay, it's going to scream like this.
Hey, it's loud. Cool. It works.
Yeah, it's working. I can overclock. Now, what is the little door in the vents? What's in there?
Look at that. You get your I/O in there. 2 USB. No number, because I'm pretty sure that was before they had any numbers on USB.
0, 0.1.
Just USB. And Firewire.
Firewire.
I wonder which speed, because wasn't there 2 different speeds of Firewire back in the day, like a 150 and a 300 maybe, or a 200 and 400? I don't remember what the numbers were, but...
Yeah. Let us know in the comments. Do you still use Firewire? I've talked actually to some musicians that record on old equipment, and they still use Firewire for stuff. But yeah, and the door had a lock on it. So I don't know where the key is, though.
See, we can lock this sucker, and Bill will never get back in.
But one of the big mods to do was to remove the center portion of the front door, put a window there. Also, there's the recess for case badges. Back in the day, case badges were a big thing, like get your biohazard design or nuclear reactor or your sports team. In fact, there was a website called casebadges.com that was really popular that sold those clear gel type adhesive badges. And you know, considering this came out in 2003, it's got a huge window.
Yeah, from the factory even. And
an optional VGA cooler fan hole. VGA.
Are you sure it wasn't, what was the other one, AGP?
Oh, AGP, yeah. May have been AGP, Accelerated Graphics Port
Back
option.
in the day where you had to know which one you had because there was more than one standardization for graphics cards.
Exactly. So we got a nice little latch. The panel design is actually quite nice. I remember on my panel, I painted my handle red.
I was just struggling to get the door off because the case is so light that it doesn't want to stay on.
That's exactly right. It's very feather light, and because of like I mentioned earlier, that this got panned in the reviews that you can find online just because it was so lightweight.
Lightweight, built for speed.
Yeah.
Computer's faster because it's lighter. Not so much, but I mean that's actually not bad.
Oh yeah, Plex Store, Mad Max.
Pretty...
That was a company, Master. Remember Plex Store?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a company I was thinking of.
And look, you don't have to bend any of those stupid metal tabs anymore. You just get these little pop-out plastic rivet things. I don't know if anybody's able to see it, but
very clever design.
If you want to take the window off, you could do that pretty easily.
Change the color on it.
Or if you wanted to paint the actual panel, not the window, and not have to tape a bunch of plexiglass up.
You know, I'll say this. Well, if you go to Unique's website, they've actually got a gallery of the process, like some of the assembly line stages. And there's one where they've got automated paint booth, where they've got parts on hangers that go through and get painted. And that explains why the finish on these is exceptionally well done. It's nice and consistent. There's no runs at all.
Yeah, although I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but you can tell this was before they mastered how to make the plastic look like the metal.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a slight
Where
color
you see
difference.
the Fractal Design Focus G that we just did, that was like near perfect.
Yeah.
That's how far we've come. Yeah, it's slightly off in the light. Yeah.
I really like this green though. Like with the on the side panels and stuff. It's like a sort of kind of not really that metallic, but kind of. I don't know how to describe it, or even if it comes through very well in the video, but I don't know.
It's a nice color though. I like it. Yeah, I was actually happy to get this color. The yellow one is, you know, more subjective, the personal taste. The purplish one more looks like brown than purple. But if some of you recall, Maximum PC used to have the Alienware ad always on the back cover of the magazine during this time, and Alienware was the first company, you know, that had this different array of towers when you ordered your system that you could choose which color you wanted, which was so cool at the time because we were just like, it was either beige, black, or silver. That was our only choices. So now we're looking inside. This did take up to an extended ATX board. Looking back, power supplies were mounted on the top, typically in a chassis. Which is nice, is that they actually have the adapter plate so you could flip the power supply upside down when you mount it. That was a nice little touch. And as somebody already said in the comments, 80mm fans all the way around in this.
Heck yeah. You get these nice little removable.
And Moss actually has a 80 millimeter fan on the table that came out the same time. Some of you may recall these all aluminum frame Evercool fans.
These are heavy.
Yeah, I still love those today.
Check this out. Fan installation. Just kind of snap it right in place.
Nobody does anything like this today unless, like you're saying, if they bought a high-end Sun server, right?
You know, where you have to be able to...
True toolless design.
Where what you have to be able to do is swap out your fans without ever having to turn off the computer.
Brilliant.
You know, it's like, well, I mean, okay, but I can't afford a case like that because that's just ridiculous. Come on, line up. There you go.
You can find Sun Systems towers now on eBay for like around $100 that are even today are still really nice with all the features in them. This has 7 PCI slots. There's also in the front the same type of heavy-duty plastic is a cable organizer that was removable. And when the first CHIEFTEC was designed and made by Unique, they weren't making them for us home builders. They were really focusing on the commercial end. They were servers. So that's why they've got these nice features. Now, what's missing from this one, if you noticed already, is my 2 3.5-inch drive cages. I don't know where they are, and I was really bummed turning things upside down trying to find them, and I'm asking myself, why the hell did I remove those? Where are they? But what was really cool about the design is that those cages held the fans in the front of the cage, so you could remove the cage with the fan in it, and then they would slide into those shelves, and then at the top there was a lever that you swung over to lock it in place. It was a brilliant design for the time. Still today, a lot of thought was put into everything, and the stamping is exceptionally good. Those of you that have had a steel version know it. I mean, they're built just super, super strong. Like mil spec. Now, when I got this, my intentions were to do a build leaving the exterior all original and do like a hardline liquid build, like maybe stainless steel lines that match the surface, the aluminum finish. But then the reality struck me, which I forgot about when I took the side panel off.
Case from the early 2000s. Ready? The problems you run into. Yep. You don't need to manage any cables. I mean, it's just be happy that you can plug them in. It's fine. Yeah, because that's it. Like, this 1/4 inch is about all you get. And then all your grommeted holes are...
Grommets? Where? There's no grommeted holes. There's no cable
holes. No holes. So, yeah, that'd have been fun.
Well, there is 2 really small squares in front. Yeah. Oof. But think about it. In 2003, nobody was critiquing you for what type of cable management job you did in your build, right? I mean, you look back in Google and what images still survive, there was zero cable management, zero use. Well, there was maybe cable ties that held like a particular component, its wires together in a bundle. It was like bundling was the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Callan from Envious Mods. Yeah, there was no sticking cables in the back then. It was all hanging out, pretty much hanging out. Well, it's even amazing that this had a factory side panel window that large for 2003.
Back in the day when you actually had to know what your stuff was for your USB ports, rather than one big connector, you get the 2 different connectors with your +5, your,
Oh, yeah.
all of those voltages, and then your grounds, and it's like, oh, man. Same thing with your FireWire.
And Joe Gumby says, we were still dealing with IDE ribbon cables back then.
That's right. Oh, man.
Every cable back then was mustard yellow, or was mustard.
Your rubber band
says Whaler 99.
Giving up the ghost, Bill.
Oh, the rubber band. Yeah, well, that's 15-year-old rubber band.
15-year-old rubber band is not so much a rubber band anymore.
C128D says, I have one of these under the Antex SX1040 name. Oh yeah, Antec, the Soho 1040. Yeah, mine was a 1030. I got it from Directron. He uses it as his media server.
Nice.
Well, yeah, they were built to last through the apocalypse.
Let's see if we can't get that.
All right, so did I miss any brands there, gang? Antec had their version. CHIEFTEC, the CHIEFTEC Dragon, Intermax FS-710, the Thermotech Zazier series 1 through 3, Ultra. And Ultra, if you guys remember Ultra brand hardware, they got their hand slapped because they were making those modular power supplies, and that was a patented design, and they didn't clear it with the company before they started making them. They were actually copying a lot of stuff, and they eventually disappeared because the other hardware manufacturers were like, "That's enough. You're out." You know, they got booted. But I remember they had a silver version of this case, and it had the Ultra name embossed on the front.
This case came with 5 1/4 inch bay rails, didn't it? There must have been rails that you had to mount on your 5 1/4 inch drive. Because you don't have any of them.
There was a strip of plastic 5 1/4 rails that you put in. No, you didn't put them in. You put them on your actual drive.
Yep.
And then they slid in.
Yep, because this doesn't quite.
Yeah, it needs them.
So that would be with the rails on. It would sit about there. How about that vintage piece of hardware?
Yeah, you guys identify that from the same year this came out? Do you recall what these were? That accessory you could get from Cooler Master?
I liked those.
Yeah, Mad Max, I don't know where those 3.5 inch drive cages are, dude. I have no idea. In fact, I'm almost wondering if it was cannibalized before I bought it, as I can't find them anywhere, and I wouldn't throw those away knowing how rare this is. You guys remember the Musketeer series, 5 1/4 accessories from Cooler Master? In these analog style gauges, you had temperature, there was a thermal probe, you had a VU audio, so measure your music you're listening to, the audio level, and then volt.
Of something.
Yeah, which could be, I think it was a Mullix connector, so you could like hook up like a fan. You could see what your fan volt is that you're running.
Something like that. Because, yeah, I mean, it's got your temperature probe, your power, your VU, and a fan. So it's like, well, must be fan because
Yeah, what are those rheostat controls? What are those?
Min and max for volts and min and max for the VU. So my guess would be something along the lines of this, unless it's an actual volume, which I wouldn't think, because the adapter that came with it looks like it's just a straight pass-through splitter. I'll take that out quick. So my guess would be that probably would be what you would use to say, okay, this is the upper bound. Yeah, because if we look at this, it just sort of, hey, there's some light. It's just, you have an in and an out. The in goes to this, which plugs into the back of your Musketeer, and it also just splits it. So it's not going to control the volume or anything. But I think what it probably did was it would set the min and the max. So if you're listening to something really loud and you wanted this needle to peg somewhere, sorry.
Oh, it's all right. It's weird.
It's really hard to get in the light.
Yeah.
So it was, I think the min and the max probably just sets the level to make sure that you can get a good reading on it based on, what level of stuff you had. Try and get a little bit of light on it, but it's already pretty bright behind everything.
It looks cool as blank because I'm a Volkswagen GTI Jetta guy, and this is reflective of the center console gauges that I had in my car. And when these came out, I'm like, I'm all over that. This one I actually got from Cooler Master many years ago. We had a dialogue going on about something, and I asked, hey, by the way, do you have one of these Musketeers around? And they're like, yeah, we have like one that's tucked away in the warehouse, because they weren't even selling them anymore. And they were nice enough to send it to me. And then my friend Anthony Reynolds, Thrasher 2, he had gotten one and sent it to me. Actually, I had gotten 2 from him that were brand new, unopened, and then I did a giveaway years ago with it.
I think we were talking about him at one point, maybe in a video or something, and he was like, "Hey, I've got 2 of those."
You know what? It may have been a podcast or something. Maybe it was a video, and he watched it. Yeah. But when I think about doing a build with this, and other people have said, had the kind of same thought of doing like a retro look stealth build where you leave the outside completely stock and do something modern on the inside. The thing is you have to tackle is where you're going to hide all your cables, but there is enough space in there if you remove the 3.5-inch drive.
Yeah, well,
cage pedestals.
I think in today's day and age, you could probably just make your own custom cables too.
True.
That's
true.
Just make them only as long as they need to be.
Exactly.
And then you can just not have to hide them. You can just show them. You don't have any extra, then, well, who cares? At least that's my philosophy. It's like if I make them the perfect length, then I don't need to try and hide them anywhere because they're already just as long as you're going to see them anyway.
Mad Max says, CHIEFTEC Matrix, same case, but with ventilated door. And there's Steve Martino. How you doing? No way, dude. I haven't seen one of these in years. Yeah, I just got here. What we're going to reveal at the end of this live stream is where you can get one of these brand new, still in the box, for around $25 plus shipping. It's in Canada, and you've got to contact them directly. Probably best to call them and say, hey, Bill Owen at MMPC Tech just told me you have one of these cases and I need it right now.
That's right. It feels a lot like one of those, on a radio show where it's like, we're going to do this giveaway thing or to the caller number X, except for it's going to be caller number 1. Since they only have one, it's just going to be the first person that calls and says, I'll take it.
Joe Churchill, still use my CHIEFTEC daily. Cut out cable management holes and CPU cutout and nut slots and lots of 120 millimeter fan holes. Joe, if you've got a project log that you've done, share it on the modzoo.com forums. Anybody here that's watching this live stream or the video once it's published and you've done a build with one of these cases, we would love to see the build shared on our community forums at themodzoo.com. It's free to register. Even though it's an old work log, bring it on. Would love to see it. Steve says, I would love a mini ITX refresh of it. I'm not into big cases anymore. Even my storage server is mini ITX. Sure. That's one way to save space is I put a small board in there maybe. I don't know really what I would do, but it's just nice to know that I have it. So I don't know, maybe my son will walk in here someday and go, Dad, what's the story on this green one? Let's do something with it. A little history. It's fun. Retro stuff. If you enjoy us surprising you with an old iconic case like this, let us know in the comments and I'll seek out more and try to get them in the best shape as I can. I've got some feelers out. My contacts with different manufacturers, I'm hoping that maybe they got some old cases still in the warehouse for some reason. You never know. It doesn't hurt to ask.
We could only fit 16 on a pallet. We ended up with 17 in our last run, so this one just sat on the floor for 18 years.
Yeah, or it was a display or something, or just somebody forgot about it. You never know. They're out there.
It's like barn finds with classic cars.
Exactly.
Sudden, hey, look what I found, brand new, still in the plastic.
That's exactly it. Yep. Yeah, I think it's cool just to revisit these old designs and see how far we've advanced and how the trends have changed. The biggest thing is having a power supply up on the top. I mean, look at this too, Moss. You put the power supply in, and there's all that wasted space up above the power supply, but I guess you could tuck, well, not really tuck your 24 pin up there. It doesn't really make sense because you need it to be long enough. But it's kind of a wasted space. What I saw later on, what happened in this same time period, is that manufacturers would put exhaust fans up there, like 80 mil. They'd make it even taller and have it exhaust fans up there.
Or some of them would just put vent across the back
venting,
too.
yep. Leon Lee.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I was thinking of when I said that. Yeah. I also remember too from that era, these rails were really popular. A lot of cases did that right below the power supply. They'd have rails go from the back to the front, just to help support the weight and to help, just get a little bit more rigidity in the case and all that kind of stuff. But I used to tuck wires in these things all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's an easy place to just stash a couple of small wires if you needed to run them out to wherever. It's like, hey, just hide those.
Yeah, I just remembered that I did the Harley Davidson anniversary tribute case mod with the steel version of this case in 2002 or 2003, and I can still get a hold of that system.
Nice.
I can. I just got to ask them if I could borrow it and bring it back. They actually still use it, but it would be cool. When you said the rail hiding wires in there, it just made me remember doing that on that build that I did, and yeah, it would be interesting to. And what I did for mods is I updated the front. I put a whole new plate in the front with 220 millimeter fans, and then I updated the rear 80s to 92 millimeter fans because that was I couldn't fit 120s in there.
Squeeze in there.
Yeah, I don't even think I could fit a 120. Hey, let's just, for the heck of it, let's just see if a 120. I don't think so though. But I wanted to make it super clean, look factory. Let's just see. Here's even a color appropriate 120 millimeter fan.
I don't know. Do you think it'll fit?
Well, if I didn't use it, probably not.
I think it might. Oh.
Yeah. Let's see.
So
in the back.
Close.
Yeah. What's it
So
look like when you look at the back?
It's
so close.
So close. It ends up like right about there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I went with dual, and they were all Panaflow fans. If you guys remember, Panaflow fans were the big deal back then, because they were using IBM server power supplies. The ones I used were the L1A 120s, which they stopped making many years ago, but they rebranded as NMBT, or is it NMBT matte fans? Those were the I believe they were 30 millimeter thick. I may even have one of those around. Good grief.
We're just pulling out all of the old stuff out of the drawers today.
Oh yeah. Yeah, these things, man. Okay, it was NMB-Matt took over making the L1As, the Panaflow L1As. You guys remember these guys? These were like the fans to use back then because they had, I think it was 65 CFM with a low decibel around 30 decibels. And you could undervolt them without them grinding. That kind of.
Oh yeah.
They were great for undervolting, and this isn't a Panaflow. This is what they got. I think a different factory was making, or I don't remember the story and why they became NMBT-Matte fans. But the problem was they're only a 3-pin. There was never a 4-pin version, but at the time it didn't matter for motherboards.
Yeah, well back then you didn't even have a PWM fan headers, so it wasn't going to do anything for you anyway.
So yeah. Yeah, the hydro bearings. Mad Max, where are you located, by the way? Harris, how you doing? You know, a hardline build in this case would look amazing. Yeah, I'm thinking stainless steel. All silver stainless steel theme inside of it and keep the exterior completely soft. Oh, Mad Max is in Alabama.
Get aluminum tubing.
Joe says, yeah, or no, don't use aluminum. Unless everything's aluminum.
Unless everything's aluminum, yeah. Which would be cheaper, actually. The aluminum radiators are cheaper. Aluminum blocks are cheaper. Yeah, a lot easier than stainless. Should do that just to troll everybody.
Yeah, really.
My loop is aluminum, guys.
Joe says, not too long ago, everyone laughed at my old CHIEFTEC case. Haha, but I guess style comes around. Oh, Joe, I would have never laughed. I think most of our friends, that if they walked into your house and saw that, be like, dude, that's totally respected. Yeah. I mean, that's why I got this one, and I thought I'd share it today. And like I said, we want to share some other classic iconic cases, maybe some stuff that's even rare, hard to find if we can get a hold of it. You know, that's what I try to do with this channel, is just trying to offer content that's an alternative to what you see from the bigger YouTube channels, you know, because we are enthusiasts and we love to just talk about this stuff and reflect back on the day and all that, you know. Moss says that he's even got an old tower that he would bring in.
I could. Could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Might have to empty it out first. I should fire that thing up, see if it still works.
There's a guy in the chat that keeps telling us that he's going to give us all these cases for free. Moss's eyes just opened up. He says, I also have a 900D that I will drop at your office for free. Yeah. Don't try lifting that on your own, though, Harris. The 900D will break your back.
I remember the, what was it, the Cosmos, I think it was just an original Cosmos, wasn't it? That the Rebel A build, Andrews. I remember when I was here for that, when you were going to...
Oh, yeah.
You had to set it on that cart to get it down to Brian's to take pictures of it.
Oh, my gosh. What did that thing probably weighed over... Well, maybe it wasn't over 100. It had to have been 80, at least 80 pounds.
I wouldn't have been surprised at 100 pounds. I mean, it had, what, 3 big radiators in it.
It had 3 cards in it.
Yep, 3 graphics cards with water blocks.
Two 480 radiators in it, filled.
Yep, both reservoirs. The case itself.
Oh yeah, the front bezel was milled out of like 3-inch thick aluminum.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. I'm sure Andrew's probably trapped under it right now and nobody knows.
That's why we haven't seen him since.
Right.
Fell off the desk.
That's why he disappeared.
Pinned him ever since.
Harris, if you're on, just go to MMPC Tech, the contact page. If you go to mmpctech.com and scroll down, one of the first links on the left-hand side will be Contact Us. Just use that channel to reach out to us. Sounds like you've got this problem where you're trapped under cases as well.
Can't find the door. There's too many cases.
Don't forget that Smart Computer Store in Bloomington, Minnesota, Greg has got some iconic, great cases too. He's got lots of cool cases in his shop that are for sale. He's got like every derivative of the Antec Landboy that's been created. I know that, and he's got lots of classic cases
and classic hardware too, like those passively cooled power supplies with the heatsink that's stuck out the back.
Exactly. Yeah, like the silencer. Was it made by Antec or somebody that like completely fanless power supply too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Greg's got like a ton of hardware. If you're in Minnesota and you're looking to build a PC and you're not, you're just looking to maybe save some money and get like a classic case or like save some money on a good used video card or motherboard or CPU, go to Greg's Smart Computer Store. Just Google Smart Computer Store, Bloomington, Minnesota, if you're watching this video, and tell Greg we sent you. He's got tons of hardware. He's got like the best selection of used PC gaming hardware in Minnesota, and he's been featured in some of our videos over the years too. So yeah. On that note, everybody, thanks for tuning in. It's really hot and humid here. We're running out of steam, but we appreciate you watching. And once the live stream's ended, you can leave your comments. And I guess I owe them a secret, don't I?
That you do. The scavenger hunt is on.
Okay. So the first person that's savvy enough that really wants one of these CHIEFTEC. No, I'm sorry, it's not the CHIEFTEC. It's the CHENMING. And technically, check this out, guys. This is the mid-tower version, not full tower. This is mid-tower. I'm being told that Orion Computer, O-R-I-O-N Computer in Canada. If you Google it, Orion Computer, and once this is over, I'll put the link in the video description. That they've got a black version of this case, brand new, for $25 plus shipping. However, there's one caveat with this. They only ship Purolator, which is Canada's Courier Express. So you'll have to pay for that. There isn't like a UPS option or FedEx, from what I understand. But you talk to them that you saw this video and you heard about that the case that they have it, and it's $25. Because they quoted me today via email, as I was trying to find sources that still had these cases. And watch out, there's a company called Amamax, A-M-A-M-A-X, Amamax. They say that they have a blue and silver one in stock. They don't. I confirmed today their website is wrong. So if you stumble upon them in a search looking for the CHENMING, they don't have them, and I told them you need to update your website. So just an FYI on that. But also in the comments, be sure to let us know what other iconic PC cases over the last, this goes back to 15 years on this one. Let's go back and some of those iconic ones. Like for example, the Cooler Master Half X. That full tower. The original one. Yeah, the original one. That was really popular. I'll let you guys suggest it, and I can't guarantee that we can get a hold of them, but we'll try. We'll see if we can. And other than that, just watch eBay. When you sign into eBay and you do a search, remember to notify me, or what is it technically called, Moss?
Follow this search?
Follow this search. There's this follow this search option, so whenever something gets listed under the same keywords that you've used, you get emailed that it's been listed. And I do that on a lot of different products.
I have a couple of them set up for different things.
So right away, you're notified when it gets listed, so you could jump on it right away if it's something rare like this. But otherwise, periodically, these will appear. I think Greg even shared one that came up on Craigslist last month that was still had the box with it. That was a red one. So just watch Craigslist and watch eBay. But unfortunately, online, the stores, I didn't find anything out there still in stock. It's just too old, So in any case, gang, thanks for watching. And don't forget to check out Mosquito's YouTube channel and subscribe. Mosquito Mods is his YouTube channel name. And if you're not a ModZoo member already, it's free to join our community forum and share whatever type of projects you're working on or start any type of discussions there as well. So we hope to see you again next Thursday around the same time. And don't forget that on Sundays, we now do the ModZoo Hangout on my channel. And those are 4 p.m. Central Time every Sunday, and we have a guest or an interesting topic that us hardcore enthusiast DIYers, modders, liquid coolers, overclockers are into. So thanks everybody. Callan, don't forget Envious Mods too. Callan is a longtime fan supporter. Check out his channel as well. Everybody, we hope to see you again. Take care.